What's happening, people? Good morning. It's your boy Big Uggs, and welcome back to the Voice of the Tune. Yesterday, we saw Newcastle United play our first Champions League game in over 20 years, away at AC Milan at the San Siro, and it's fair to say that we picked up a hard-earned point. It just shows us the quality that we're up against in this competition, and the difference in quality too. AC Milan coming into the game. Obviously, they had lost their 5-1 derby to Inter Milan, and so they had a point to prove it. But before that, they had 3 wins out of 3 in the league. So they're no mugs. AC Milan are winners of the Champions League. They've won it many times. Last season they were in the semi-final. So this team, this side, they are very experienced in this competition. As a club, the fans are expectant every season, regardless of where they are. The fans want them to reach a certain level. So they were looking to respond after that 5-1 defeat to Inter, and I think for me, how the game went was how I thought it was going to go. I felt like we didn't change our style. We still tried to play football, we still tried to compete against them. You could tell that Eddie Howe wasn't just set on getting a draw, because in these sort of games, if you plan to get a draw, and you take off some attacking players, you can miss out on opportunities and moments in the attacking side of the pitch. So the subs that he made during the game were, for me, they were positive. We managed the game well, but in the first half, man, the first 25 minutes was tough to watch. The first 10 minutes, I felt like both teams were trying to suss it out, and we were trying to grow into the game. We had some nice moments, but I feel like what let us down yesterday was in the final third. Our final ball, or the choices that we made in those areas. It could have been a bit better. Sometimes I felt like we were a bit naive and we're trying to rush things a little too much, and we miss out on opportunities. So I feel like the first 10 minutes of the game was, I'd say, both teams trying to understand the game and find out about each other. And then AC Milan just had a 10 minutes of just brutality. Literally, like, they should have at least scored one. If I can recall, Giroud has some chances. Rafael Leao had a glorious chance that he that he just decided to just try and flick it, do a back heel, and he completely misses it. And that's the difference in these competitions. Like, players like him that can make things happen, but you need to be just scoring that. Putting your foot behind the ball and just putting it back in the net, making sure that it goes in. So we rode our luck in the first half. By some poor finishing by AC Milan, and some good saves also, and also some good defending. And I felt like, for me, if we were to get through that phase, we'll be alright in the game, because I feel like AC Milan, that was all they had. I didn't feel like they was going to offer us anything else, and but they are a dangerous side, especially off the flanks, and the fullbacks double up on our fullback. So they're wide players. For example, Leao and Tio Hernandez, both players were giving Trippier some problems. So obviously I understand why Murphy started, because of the defensive aspect of his game, but Tio Hernandez is different class, so he knows when to go forward, when to exploit the space. Leao would come inside and they'll leave the space for Hernandez. So they caused us some issues down that side. But all in all, I felt like it was a performance that was worthy of a point. Like I said, we went out there and we tried to play the way we play. We competed and we backed ourselves. We just could have been a bit better in the final third. But obviously, it's a learning experience. This is our first Champions League game as a club in over 20 years. So, in this group of death, so-called group of death, to get a point in our first game away at the San Siro, for me, is massive. And that gives us encouragement going into our next game against Sheffield United, going into the game against PSG. The boys now, they've got a feel of what it's like to play in Champions League, because this competition it's about creating moments for yourself. And AC Milan, they had all the chances, but in terms of possession, I see it was 53% for them, and for us 47%. So in terms of time on the ball, I believe it was an even game. We had moments where we were on the ball, but one area that we could also improve on is on the ball, because I felt like we didn't know how to build up our play. You know, I feel like we're relying too much on our physical aspect and running over teams. We need to get back to playing football the way we know how to play football. And I felt like yesterday, in certain moments, if we were better on the ball, like I said, we could have created a bit more situations for ourselves whereas either Jacob Murphy out on the wing or Anthony Gordon on the other side, you know, we probably just rushed our final ball a little bit. And situations like in this game where you're under pressure, we need to be better to create these opportunities for our striker. And these in these games, it don't come too often. So, you know, we could have been better in that aspect. But like I was saying, in terms of possession, it looked like it was an even game. But AC Milan had the majority of the chances. I think the only shot on target I can recall was Longstaff's, and that was in the 94th minute, where we could have nicked it. AC Milan had 9 shots on target, 25 shots on goal, and yeah, I feel like I said, it was a tough draw, but we managed to get the point, and now we look forward to our next game. Eddie Howe can take some confidence. We rested a few guys. We saw Isak come in. Isak, for me, had a good game. I was happy to see him start in this game, because in this game we need sort of that striker to link up the play for us and to get us up the pitch, which is good at. But when Callum Wilson came on, you can see what he does. He makes the other side or the other defence stretched, so he runs in behind. So both strikers are different, and I think for the first part of the game we needed somebody to get us on the ball and keep it. And as the game stretches on and goes on and it becomes more open, you bring on Wilson. So I believe Eddie Howe made the right changes at the right time and started with the right team. It just could have been a bit better. But obviously this is our first game in the Champions League, so you know we're going to improve. So all in all, I'm happy with the performance in terms of the fact that we grinded out a draw. Areas to improve, but this is our first Champions League game, and you know what a way to start it with a point away at AC Milan. So I feel like on the day there were, again, Dan Burn, like yeah, defensively great, but on the ball going forward, it's bad, man. And I'd be surprised if we don't go out for a new left back in January, to be fair, because we can't keep relying on Dan Burn's abilities as a left back. He's a great defender, don't get me wrong, but on the ball going forward, we need to be better. You know, we're at a different level now, where fullbacks are also important. You know, on the right hand side we've got Trippier, so why can't we get a Trippier for the left hand side? And that's no disrespect to Dan Burn himself, but you know, as a left back, I don't feel like he's where we need to be. And also, it highlighted the need for a natural number 4. I felt like AC Milan got in a few times in the first half, especially Loftus-Cheek got in to good positions in between defence and midfield, and he found himself in space. And I felt like that's because obviously, naturally, our deepest midfielder, which is Bruno, naturally he likes to push on and leaves some space. And in a different game, for example, if we play PSG, Mbappe's not missing these chances. You know, Mbappe's going to take these chances. PSG are going to make sure that they score these goals. So, you know, there's definitely room to improve, because it's only going to get harder. But a confidence booster to take a point away from home, and I definitely believe we can beat AC Milan at home easily. Not easily, but we can get the win against them. You know, we just need to be better in the final third. These Dortmund as well, like I'm not too sure what they're like, but you know, they lost to PSG 2-0. I saw the highlights and they don't look great either. So, you know, I feel like 2 wins and this draw that we got puts us in a good position, and 2 home wins. So, you know, there's a lot of things to be positive about. And, you know, this group of death, like I said, these sides aren't what they used to be. So we can get some points from these teams. And 1 point on the board, hope to get many more. Let me know what your thoughts on the game, how you felt like we performed. Are you happy? I'm sure everyone is happy with the draw. And make sure just to leave a comment, to press the like button. And if you're watching and you haven't already subscribed, please hit that button. Thanks for watching. It's your boy Big Augs. I'll see you in the next video, and I'm out.